Chapter 2. Same, but different. Lancelot was a damn fool. This was not new information by any means, but he was a fool. Waiting for the other knights to arrive had made him so excited that he'd started picking fights just to get the energy out. They hadn't been anything serious, nor anything he couldn't handle. At least, at first. Perhaps it had been a mistake to challenge Attila to a duel. Lancelot had underestimated him, wrongly assumed the Hun's shy nature was a testament to his fighting prowess. Now the knight was sitting on a table in the restoration room with a sword in his leg. Attila was standing behind Tilly, looking a little sick as she poked at the blade. It had pierced an exposed spot, and it hurt a lot. Tilly tugged on the sword. Lancelot and Attila yelped.
"Sorry,"
Tilly squeaked.
"Man, that thing's really in there. That's what you get for fighting."
A World War I nurse, Margaret, pottered back into the room. She'd left a moment ago to grab some supplies. Looking a little annoyed, she shooed Tilly and Attila back and returned to work. "I don't suppose you could have that out by tonight?" Lancelot asked. Margaret fixed him with a stern look.
"I could, but you'll have to stay here for restoration to take a look at you in the morning, patch up anything I can."
"No!" Lancelot cried. He'd attempted to throw himself backwards dramatically, but a sharp jolt from his leg kept him upright. "The other knights arrive in the morning. I desired to be in their company upon awakening."
"Tough,"
Margaret huffed.
"Oh, it's all right, Lance. They'll still be there,"
Tilly added cheerfully. "But—" Margaret yanked the sword out, immediately setting to work stitching the wound closed. Lancelot gasped and thumped the wall beside him with his fist. Attila vacated the room very quickly. "Some warning would have been nice," Lancelot said in a high-pitched tone. The nurse merely shrugged and kept working.
"Are you supposed to do like that?"
Tilly asked, looking a little green herself.
"It's out, innit?"
Margaret responded. Lancelot and Tilly exchanged a glance. "What if you all should struggle with them? My presence surely would be of great assistance." Lancelot continued his protest from a moment ago. Tilly chuckled.
"Oh, you're a sweetie pie. Nikki and I have it under control. We've been handling it just fine for a while now."
"But no buts!" Tilly mimed, swinging a sword around, making swishing noises to accompany it. "I've always wanted to have an epic duel." Nick was helping the delivery crew haul in the crates. It had been exhausting. Admittedly, his arms were still a little sore from when they did this a couple of weeks ago. No, that one goes over there," McPhee called shrilly to one of the men. Nick rolled his eyes. He'd suggested earlier McPhee climb in and actually help, but the director had brushed it off, mumbling something about wrinkling his clothes. It took some time to get all the knights in position. The full plate armor they donned made them all more than a little heavy. Some curses were uttered attempting to get them to balance. Once all was finished, and everyone else had left, Nick stood beside McPhee to take in the new exhibit. It was a battle scene, 2 knights dueling in the back, and there would be 2 in the front once Lancelot could be added. Just beside the pairs was a knight on horseback. He was the only one with a visible face, given his simpler chainmail armor. "Wonder who they'll turn out to be," McPhee mused. "I think Lancelot is really hoping they'll be people he knows," Nick said. McPhee scoffed. "If they are, better hope they're people who actually like him. The man had a terrible habit of—" He made a vague stabbing motion. Right. Nick hadn't read the stories himself, but he knew bits and pieces from what Lancelot had told him. Though at the same time, he wasn't entirely sure he could count on that knight to be reliable. He'd once told Nick that he'd been forced to fight completely nude with only a stick as his weapon. When Nick asked why he was nude, Lancelot responded that it was because he had to climb a tree to fetch a bird. It was unclear to Nick how those things correlated, but he didn't really want to ask any more questions. Clearly, Lancelot's memories were more messed up than anyone thought. McPhee's watch chimed, and he straightened out his suit. "Well, I best be off. Best of luck to you with this lot. You don't want to stay and meet them?" "Ha, you're funny." "No, I don't fancy risking a sword through the stomach." "Oh, but it's okay if I do," Nick responded sardonically. "What else do I pay you for?" Then McPhee paused for a moment. "Seriously, though, try not to be on the wrong end of a sword. That would be so much paperwork." "I really feel loved and cared for in this work environment." Nick placed his hands over his heart. That got met with an exasperated eye roll. "Only because I've been forced to know you so long. See you tomorrow." Nick cast one final glance back at the exhibit before starting on his work for the night. Hopefully things would go smoothly. He would hate for Lancelot to be disappointed. Lancelot shot upright. A new night had fallen over the museum. He was awake, and that meant new people to meet. A wave of anxiety cascaded over him in a flash. He was left reeling for a moment. That was odd. He'd certainly experienced anxieties before, but it had never struck so suddenly like that. Part of his brain was signaling to stay, the other was urging to run. What was this? It was just new people. He'd never been frightened of new people. There was something deeper lying behind that fear, and he knew it. This was supposed to be a night of new acquaintances, not another night of sinking into the past. Though, of course, it had been eating at him. What were the odds they turned out like him? He hadn't wanted to get his hopes up. He'd been a unique case after all, and the tablet was unpredictable. Lancelot yearned for familiarity more than he could possibly admit. He'd been written that way, to love so deeply that it hurt. Burdensome existence of the heart and all that. It was more than a little exhausting at times. Though he would never give his heart up for the world. That's what made him human. It's what made him real. Shaking himself, Lancelot stood. His legs seemed to work fine, only some mild soreness, so really nothing could stop him. He'd prevailed through worse injuries. Except for that one time a huntress shot him in the rear, but that wasn't relevant right now. With a quick armor adjustment, Lancelot set off to meet his new fellows in arms. The museum halls bustled as they usually did. Animals lurking around every corner, the passing chatter of friends and family. It was quite nice here. Hopefully it would stay that way for a good long while. As he rounded a corner, he nearly bumped into AMNH. "Oh, forgive me, my liege. I did not see you." Lancelot bowed his head.
"It's quite all right," Ak smiled. "Are you headed to meet the new knights? I just spoke with two of them. Such interesting men."
"Truly? They were kind to you, I hope?"
Yes. They bowed down to me and everything. I think you'll like them very much," Ak said in a humorous tone that made to continue on his original path. "Though I think they started dueling when I left, so good luck." Lancelot laughed. That didn't surprise him one bit. He'd gotten into his fair share of friendly competitions. A loud clashing of swords echoed through the halls as he got closer. Competition like that could be a bonding experience. Why, he could recall partaking in such battles with boars when they were young, and there was a small gathering around two dueling knights, the crowd watching curiously as sparks flew from the clattering blades. One knight was suited fully in plate armor, not unlike Lancelot. His helmet covered his face. The other knight, however, was clad in chainmail, and his face was quite visible. Lancelot squinted at him for a long while, trying to place why he looked so familiar. Then it struck him. "Boars!" Lancelot shouted. Both knights paused and turned to face him. The fully clad one raised the mouth of his helmet just a bit. Bors looked rather confused, searching Lancelot's face for a moment. "Yes? Who?" Then his eyes widened. "Lancelot?" The two ran to each other, meeting in the middle with a boisterous embrace that surely would have toppled anyone else. It was Bors, really, truly Bors, here in the flesh. They were cousins by blood, but they were more like brothers. "Look at you!" Bors pulled back and held Lancelot by his shoulders, grinning ear to ear. "I never thought I'd see you again. Bors looked back at the other knight, laughing. "Are we in hell?" "What?" Lancelot guffawed. The other knight removed his helmet as he approached, and after a moment, it registered in Lancelot's mind that he was none other than Sir Percival. "The lord of this place said that we're not in any afterlife," Percival said, then clapped Lancelot on the shoulder. "'Tis good to see you again, Sir Lancelot." "Percival!" Lancelot exclaimed, then moved to embrace him as well. "What joy I have been granted! I've yearned for so long to see familiar faces." "You've been here long?" Percival tilted his head curiously. "That would explain why he wasn't there when we woke up," Bors nodded. "I have, for many years now. Oh, there's so much to explain, so much to show you all." Lancelot looked around the hall. "Where are the other two? There were supposed to be 4 of you, if I recall." "That's right," Percival nudged Bors' side. "Do you remember which way he went?" Bors perked up even more at this. "Lord, I can never keep track of that boy. I think it was that way?" "Oh, Lancelot, you'll be right thrilled." Lancelot tilted his head curiously. "Who?" "You will see. Let us go find him at once." AMNH approached his temple. He had some books stored away in his coffin that he wanted to read. They'd been generously gifted to him by Tilly, and Ak always delighted in her curious taste in literature. There was, however, a bit of a surprise waiting for him. When he rounded the corner, he was met with the sight of a figure at the far end of the hall where the tablet was hung. Of course, it gave him some pause. Unexpected visitors were always a little alarming. As he got closer, it became clear that this was a knight, one of the new ones perhaps, clad in full armor. "Hello," Aquin-Ra said. "Examining the tablet, are we?" "Yes, it is beautiful." "Is it made of gold?" the knight asked. "Indeed, my father had it made for me when I was born." "It is yours? I do not suppose I could request your assistance then. I am just—" The knight's head turned to look around the room. "I am afraid my companions and I are a little lost. Pray tell, where are we? Heaven?" Aquin-Ra gazed upon him sympathetically. "This is no afterlife. You are alive. Everyone here is. Fear not, it shall all be explained more clearly soon." The knight nodded warily. Then Ak held out a hand to shake. "I am King Aquin-Ra, 4th king of the 4th king, ruler of the land of my fathers." The knight completely ignored Ak's hand and dropped to his knee in a bow. "'Tis an honor to be in your presence, my liege. Please, forgive my intrusion. Had I known I was in the presence of a king, Oh, please, you don't have to do all that." Aquin-Ra patted the knight's shoulder, a little embarrassed. "We are all equals here. Just tell me your name." The knight stood and removed his helm, revealing the face of a boy who could be no older than 15. Sunrise-colored hair curled almost too perfectly around his face, like it hadn't just been compressed in a helmet. Aquin-Ra wondered where he'd seen that move before. "Right, where are my manners? Sir Galahad, at your service." Galahad thumped his fist to his chest in greeting. "Ah, that's what it was." Aquin-Ra smiled. "You don't say. You know, good Sir Knight, I think there's someone here who will be very eager to see you."